So this story really highlights the sick groupthink in Washington, D.C. This is in The Hill. They say, presidential candidate Senator Elizabeth Warren is taking heat from all sides over her proposal to make it official U.S. policy not to be the first to use a nuclear weapon. Republicans slammed the proposal as sending a dangerous signal to both allies and enemies about a lack of U.S. resolve, previewing a potential attack line from President Trump should the two face off in the general election. Some Democrats do back the idea, but others say a no first use policy like the one Warren proposed is too simplistic for a complex world. Quote, the worry is that, of course, that should be our policy, but if we tell the world that is our policy, you actually may perversely encourage bad behavior in others, said Senator Tim Kaine, who was the Democratic vice presidential nominee in 2016. And also, for the record, an abysmal politician who's deeply unpopular and couldn't beat Donald Trump along with Hillary Clinton. Sad. He made Mike Pence look likable in a debate. Sad. Look at how out of touch they are, man. And look at the framing. Look at the framing of this. Make it official U.S. policy not to be the first to use a nuclear weapon. In other words, they're framing it as, oh, we have to get nuked first before we nuke back. Well, I have a different framing for it. Nobody is going to nuke us, ever, wouldn't try it for even a split second, because they know what the consequences are. So this is us saying, let's not be complete and utter idiots, and let's not offensively nuke people. How's that for framing? When you frame it that way, hey, should the U.S. offensively nuke anybody under any circumstance? When you frame it that way, every reasonable person is going to go, the fuck? No, of course not. Are you ridiculous? Absolutely not. That's crazy. Offensively nuke people. That is so immoral and unethical and stupid. It's hard to fathom that anybody would, in good faith, believe that and argue that. But in Washington, D.C., they're so disconnected from regular people, and they're so in bed with the military-industrial complex that to them it's like, well, duh. Obviously, we need to leave on the table the idea that we offensively nuke other countries. This is the only country that's ever used nuclear weapons, and we used it on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and we killed so many civilians. And there's no, grappling with that reality. It's more like, well, we reserve the right to always do that. Now, that's a slightly different situation. We were in the middle of a war, but still, it's really grotesque that the only country to ever massacre civilians and use nuclear weapons is just casually musing out loud about well, our policy is we can nuke anybody whenever the fuck we want. That's our policy. You cannot form a coherent, logical argument for that position. Because what you're doing is you're saying we are immoral, we are unethical, we don't care about civilian death toll. By the way, anytime anybody would ever use nukes, there's going to be a massive civilian death toll. You're killing civilians on purpose, which, by the way, is the definition of terrorism. So in other words, all the idiots who are disagreeing with Elizabeth Warren here, they're putting their hands up and saying, I believe in terrorism. I believe sometimes it's justified for us to be terrorists. Listen, man. I don't care what fucking propaganda you've digested in your life, watching goofy-ass movies that portray America as pure good and everybody else as pure evil. There is nobody who is going to offensively nuke us. Full stop. It's not going to happen. Simply not going to happen. Not even close to ever happening. So for us to say, the real reasonable conversation to be having is starting to draw down and have fewer nukes in the world because it's so dangerous and human beings aren't really ready for this technology yet. So the real conversation is, hey, maybe we should draw down on our nuclear stockpile so we could destroy the world 8,000 times over. But we're not having that conversation at all, even a little bit. The conversation that we're having is, hey, how dare you say that we can't offensively nuke people? And again, all the Republicans disagree with it, all of them. And half the Democrats are going after Elizabeth Warren. And Democrats literally went on the record with The Hill to try to distance themselves from Elizabeth Warren to say, no, I'm one of the good Democrats. I'm one of the guys who's cool with offensively nuking other countries. It's really pathetic, man. It's pathetic. It's embarrassing. It shows you how disconnected these people are. And the idea that like, oh, Trump is going to kick her ass on this issue. All the time, Democrats have said, oh my God, Trump is a crazy person. Trump is a lunatic. Trump is a Manchurian candidate controlled by Russia. And then what? In the next breath you say, which is why I think it's totally cool that he can have his finger on the red button. What? What? You were just arguing he's insane and he should be nowhere near the Oval Office and he doesn't have the ability or the mental capacity or the temperament to have his finger on the red button. And now all of a sudden you're like, listen, we got to give Donald Trump, let him reserve the right to offensively nuke people. I am perpetually amazed at how out of touch they are in Washington, D.C. If you can't win this argument and you're on the left, wrap it up. Just go home and call it a day. Because this is one of the easiest arguments to ever win. How insanely militaristic is this country where the position in D.C. is offensively nuke people. Yeah, totally. Sweet. I'm down.